Gearing up for fantasy football, today's giveaway was chosen by our guest, a year-long subscription to Player Profiler's Data Analysis Plus package, home of the best NFL player profiles, as well as advanced fantasy stats. Care to win one? Stick around to see how. Hello, data folks, and welcome to the Standout Data Show, where we share tips and tricks on how to drive more impact with data. Today, we're learning from not only an excellent senior business analyst at Capital One, but a data-driven fantasy football analyst at the Undroppables. As a shameless fanatic of fantasy football, I discovered his predictive data model for drafting wide receivers on Twitter, and I immediately asked him to join the show. Please welcome Josh Lee.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
So tell us a little bit about the fantasy football model you made.
So the first model that I made was back in college. Very, very basic. Just took data from players over the past 5 seasons and then took an average and a confidence interval just to give a range for the outcome of that specific player. And that season, I was out only in 3 fantasy football leagues. I actually won 2 of them. So that model actually turned out pretty well. Over the past few years, I haven't been using models as much. I have not won championships. And hopefully this season, since we're going back to the data, we'll win a few championships again.
There we go. What model are you most proud of and why?
So the model that I'm most proud of actually is the model I made after the wide receiver model. It is the running back model. And both models, wide receiver and running backs, use an XG boost algorithm. And I just recently learned about this, but it's a really, really cool machine learning algorithm that can basically split data into different trees. And that model helps you identify league winners in your fantasy football leagues. And as we know, running backs are the most important position in fantasy football. So that's where the money's going to be made.
And when you created your model on wide receivers, which variable had a predictive outcome that surprised you?
The variable that surprised me the most was actually draft pick. I would think that some of the other measurables or athleticism of a receiver would be a better predictive variable when we're predicting a wide receiver's success. But basically the big takeaway here is the guys in the NFL front offices, they know what they're doing. They're the experts on this. They've been doing it for many, many years. So we should lean on them and trust them. And so the draft pick variable actually had 3 times as much predictive power than any other variable. So that was by far and away the best predictive variable.
Yeah, that's really surprising. Now let's get to the money. Based on your model, which players do you think are the biggest sleepers?
So my biggest sleepers this season are 2 running backs. And these 2 running backs actually graded out in my running back model as 2 of the best top running backs over the past 10 years. And that is Travis Etienne and Breece Hall. So those guys are potential league winners that you can get in probably the 3rd, 4th, 5th round of your fantasy league drafts. So go ahead and go get those guys.
Oh, I will. Josh, thanks again for joining us, and good luck this fantasy season.
Hey, thanks so much. I really appreciate you having me on. Best of luck to you.
And if you're a fan of data and fantasy football, please check out Josh's Twitter. That is all for this episode of the Standout Data Show. If you'd like a chance to win a subscription to Player Profiler, drop a football emoji in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and make sure to follow Census for more tips and tricks on how to stand out in your data career. And get more giveaways.